Hi, I want to make a short video and describe some of the processes that we're going to use for Lab 13, which is going to be our storage devices with iSCSI and NFS. So let me share my screen. And the first thing we need to do is once we connect to Guacamole and log into our server, of course, is we're going to make a differencing disk for both so what we're going to want to do is make a differencing disk for iSCSI with our CentOS, and then another one with our Win server parent for our NFS. So let's go, if we go new hard disk, VHDX, differencing, and we're going to call this one CentOS 8-iSCSI. So let's go in here and CentOS 8-iSCSI. And then the parent here is going to be our CentOS 8 parent. Next, finished. And then we're going to do the same thing for the NFS disk. So VHDX, differencing. And then this one we're going to call, just need to get down to the bottom here. And I want to do this right away. So we're going to call this server 2019-NFS. So let's go. NFS, and this is going to be based on the parent. All right. Then we're going to create two new virtual machines built around that. iSCSI, generation 1, we'll give it 4 gigs of RAM. We're going to attach it to the Intel network. We're going to use our existing hard drive, CentOS 8 iSCSI. Next, finish. And then we're going to do the same thing with our NFS, new virtual machine. Next. S, generation 1, 4 gigs of RAM, Intel, use existing hard drive, and we'll do our server 2019 NFS. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start both of these, and I'm going to connect to CentOS, and I'm going to start this one in the background, and I'm going to connect to that one later. But so now what we need to do with our CentOS, there is no sysprep. So all we have to do is, start it, and it's going to go right into our CentOS system here. So we'll get that going. Just take a second. Let's switch over back to the lab. So let me go back to the beginning. So here we are. We've make a new differencing disk, create a new VM, power on, connect, make sure your VM settings have the network connected to Intel, start up your server, log in, and we're going to write down our machine's network information, and I'll show you how we can get that. All right, so here we are, CentOS. Our regular CNET 2021 exclamation point. All right, so the first thing we want to get is the IP address and the MAC address. The reason we want those is just in case we get lost a little bit later on, we can find our way back. So if we go right click on the network wired connected wired settings. And this will show us the network, and there's only one network card in here. And there's our network 10.29.72.71. And then our MAC address is the hardware address. So I want to make note of that. So .71, and then we'll write that down in the lab. Okay. And then what we're going to do is shut this thing down real quick. So let's go into power off. And then what we want to do once that turns off is go into the settings of your CentOS 8 iSCSI VM, click on the IDE controller 1, add a hard drive, and we're going to add a hard drive that's going to be 100 gigabytes. So let's come over here. So here, File, Settings, IDE controller 1, add hard drive, and we're going to create a new virtual hard disk. It's going to be VHDX. We want it to make it a fixed size. And we're going to call this iSCSI, what do I have you call it? New iSCSI disk2.vhdx. So this will be iSCSI disk2.vhdx. And then the size, we're going to say 100 gigabytes. And we'll click next. And then finish. All right, so this will take just a few minutes to create that disk. We're going to do 100 gigs. Next, click on finish. And then when it's done, we're going to go into CentOS 8. All right, so this will just take a couple of minutes. Okay, so now that the second hard disk is created, click OK. And then start up your CentOS 8-iSCSI VM again. All right. Then we'll log on. Once this starts up, we're going to click on activities. And then in the search here, just type disks. Click on that. And then click on the 107 gigabyte there, and then click on this little gears icon. And we want to format the partition. The name we're going to give it is iSCSI 2. And leave all that rest of that the same. Next, format. It's going to ask you for the password. Authenticate. And it'll say it's creating the file system. And now it's ready to go here. Okay. Give it the name, format. And then once that's done, the next thing we're going to do is become root. we can mount this as well. I don't remember if we mounted it. Let me see here. All right, so then let's go to the terminal, become root su-l. And we're going to type DNF, which is the installer -y install target CLI. So -y. And that will go grab the files from the repository for CentOS and install it. Okay. Right, so then the next thing we want to do is type target CLI, and then we're going to do that command there. So let's go. And so then let's type backstores /block create iSCSI ds2. And if you use the tab completion, it will help you a lot. So backstores /block create, and then we're going to call it iSCSI-ds2 and it's going to be on dev SDB. Okay. And then we'll just hit enter. And that created it there. And then we need to create our target by typing iSCSI create. So I'm using tab. Whenever you see it, just fill in. That's the tab creation. Okay. So then it says created. And it gives you the IQN, which is the ID number for the system. So I just want you to take a screenshot of what yours looks like and paste it there. So now we need to create the target. So what we're going to do is type iSCSI/IQ and then hit tab. So, and if you just hit tab there, it'll fill in what it just created. Okay. And then we're going to put /tpgl/luns. Luns, and then space create backstores and then just hit tab and it'll fill that in for you. And then we'll hit enter and it'll say created lun 0. All right. So now if we type ls, we should see our iSCSI lun is created right here, which is perfect. That's what we wanted it to look like. Okay. So there's our lun 0 and it's on block iSCSI. So now we need to go back over to our Hyper-V host. So this is the Hyper-V host is this machine right here. So the one with the red background that we're never going to do anything on, well, now we're going to do something on it. So just click on start and then type iSCSI, and it should show you this program called iSCSI Initiator. And then if you hit yes or launch it, it will say, do you want to start the service? and we have to start the service, and then it will go into our initiator properties, okay? So if yours doesn't pop up again, just launch the program again. Then we have to go over to the configuration to see our information here. And you see where it says dash server dash R4, change that to your last name. So click on change and change that server, whatever, to your last name, and then hit OK. Okay, that way we'll have a nice clean look at this. Okay, so change the name, click on OK, close that, and then we have to put in that big ugly name in here. So let me show you how to do this. Okay, so what I do is I just copy this, hit OK, and then I open Notepad, and then I paste that there so I have it. And then I'd like to make this font a lot bigger so I can see it. All right, and then come back into our iSCSI area here and type iSCSI IQN tab completion TPGL ACLs create and your IQN dash last name. So what we're going to do now is type iSCSI and then IQN tab. That will fill that in. Then TPGL ACL space create. And then we have to put in our IQN. So what I did is I just like to move that right there so I can see that number. IQN dash 1991 dash 05.com.microsoft:Miller. Okay, so because I couldn't find a way to copy and paste it easily in there, and then press enter and it'll say created. Okay, so then we hit enter, says created, and then we have to type exit a couple of times to get out of this target CLI. So we're done in there. So type exit, and then we want to stop IP tables, and then we also want to stop the firewall. So service, and so now our iSCSI is all set up. So now we have to go back into the iSCSI initiator, and just because I forgot it already and I didn't write mine down, but I'm .71 is my machine name here. All right. So now if I come back in here, iSCSI initiator, and if I do this quick connect 10.29.72.71, if I do quick connect, it will find right away. It found my drive here, right? Which is good. So then I click done, and then we can close the iSCSI initiator. Okay, so now if we go into disk management, which right click, disk management, and I like to make that full screen. See how it says unknown disk 100 gigabytes? We have to right click on that and bring it online. Okay. Then it says not initialized. Right click, initialize. Leave all this exactly what it says there. Click OK. And then we're going to right click, new simple volume. We'll leave it the same size. We do want to change it to the I drive for iSCSI. And then the name, we're going to call it iSCSI. And next, and finish. And now we have our 100 gigabyte drive available to us on our host machine. So then I just want you to come into your file explorer, this PC, and give me a screenshot that shows your local disk and then your iSCSI disk. All right. So that's it for the iSCSI. So now let's switch gears and take a look at our, so I'm going to close all this because I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to go into my server 2019 NFS. And this is sitting here waiting for me to set it up. Now this is prep. So that's why we get this screen. And I don't know why. I get this every now and then on my home computer here, where I get logged out. So I'm going to accept this, give it the password. And then I'm going to log in. All right, so we're all set up here. So now we're going to start up your server, set up the password, login, get your MAC address and your IP version 4 address, verify you have internet access. Then we're going to change the name to your last name dash NFS. So let's click on send control delete, log in. And that will open up Server Manager. And once it restarts, after we change our name, we're going to go back into Server Manager and add a feature here, which is the NFS client or the NFS feature. Okay, so what we do here, wait for this to start up. All right, so here's the Server Manager. Click on Local Server. See this big, ugly win dash whatever name. Let's change that. And we want NFS dash your last name. Click OK. Close and restart. All right, so I restarted the server after I changed the name. And then we're going to let it go back in the Server Manager. And we're going to go into add roles and features, select our server there. And then we'll click on File Storage Services and expand File and iSCSI and select Server for NFS. All right, so let's do that. So add roles and features, role-based. There's our server. We're going to expand this, and then select server for NFS, and then click add feature, next, install. All right, and this goes fairly quickly. Okay, let that finish. So let's check the lab real quick. So we are done with number 8. Once it's done, And then we're going to create a new folder called Share VMs. Once this is done. All right, so it says it succeeded. Perfect. So now let's go into our C drive. Right click, new folder, shared VMs, and then we're going to right click on it, properties, and now we have this NFS sharing. So then you click on manage NFS sharing, share this folder, and then we have to go into permissions here and allow root access, and let's change this to read write. So click on permissions, read write, allow root access, and then we're going to close all this up. Okay, so that's done. Okay, close. And we also need the IP address of this machine. Let's go. So this machine is .72. All right. All right, so we can minimize that. So now we need to go back over to our host machine, and we're going to go into Server Manager, add role, and then click on Feature Client for NFS. So let's come back here. So close that. We need to run Server Manager. Let that run for just a second. Add roles and features. It's going to be on this machine. And then click on Features and Client for NFS. And then click Next and Install. All right. So I'll just take a second or two. And then to map it, it's super easy. We just go into PowerShell and mount.exe, your IP address, :/shared VMs, and then the drive letter N for NFS. Okay, so that's succeeded. And close Server Manager, go into PowerShell admin, and then we're going to do mount.exe 10.29.72.72 : and shared VMs, and where to mount it is the N drive. So now that just connected to our N drive. So let's take a look at this PC now. So now you can see I have an N drive folder, and I should have read write permissions, which I do, right? So then just take a screenshot of this and paste it there, and that's it. That's it for this week's lab. So it's very straightforward, I think, and pretty easy to get all this done fairly quickly. All right, well, I'll be on Zoom if you have any other questions, and I'll be glad to help you. All right, take care.